In this lecture, we will study minimization of the DFA. Minimization of DFA means for a given DFA to calculate equivalent DFA with minimum number of states. So consider this example, alphabet contains A and B and language L is W such that W starts with A. Now both DFA M1 and M2, they recognize this language. Every string starting with A is accepted by M1 as well as M2. Every string not starting with A is rejected by M1 as well as M2. But DFA M1, it requires 3 states, whereas DFA M2, it requires 6 states. Now in DFA M2, if you consider state U, it is not reachable from initial state. Any transition sequence from initial state S does not reach to state U. Such states, they are called unreachable states or inaccessible states, states which cannot be reached from initial state. Also, in DFA M1, state R is trap state. If the string is starting with B, the processing will enter state R, it is trap state and the string is rejected. In DFA M2, same work is done by 3 states. States V, W, X, they are reachable from initial state, but whatever work is done by one state in M1, same work is done by 3 states together in M2. Now someone may think that here more number of states are added deliberately, but it may happen that while building the DFA, while developing the logic, unnecessarily more number of states might get added, and that's why we require DFA minimization. We will consider one example. Consider language L A power 3k such that k greater than 0, alphabet contains only one symbol A. Now while building DFA for this language, someone may proceed like this. Here we have A power 1, then A power 2 and then A power 3. So for A power 3k we cannot accept epsilon. K cannot be 0, k is greater than 0. So epsilon is not part of the language. After that, A power 3, A power 6, A power 9, these strings should be accepted. So this is A, then A power 2, A power 3, it should be accepted. Now we go to A power 4, then A power 5, and now we take a loop for A power 6. So in this state, strings like A power 3, A power 6 and A power 9 and so on, they are accepted. But someone may think like this, that we go to next state for A, then here A power 2, then A power 3 which we have to accept. Now instead of adding more states, we take loop here itself. So here we have A power 3, A power 4, A power 5 and for A power 6 it will come to again final state, and again A power 9, A power 12 they are accepted. So while developing the logic we may end up adding more number of states. Here we have 4 states, here we require 6 states. Now sometimes DFAs are implemented in the software if required. For example, lexical analysis phase of compilers, it uses deterministic finite automata. Now if we use more number of states, it also means more number of transitions. For DFA, more number of states also implies more number of transitions. And if it is implemented in the software, it will take more storage. So we always should consider optimal solution, that is minimal automata. And that's why we require minimization of the DFA. Now we will study DFA minimization using state equivalence method. Now what we are going to do in state equivalence method is, for a given DFA, we are going to calculate which states are equivalent. We will group them together and it will give us minimal DFA. In a DFA M, if set of states contains 6 states A, B, C, D, E, F. Now if we prove that states A, B, C, they are equivalent, state D, it is not equivalent to any other state, E and F, they are equivalent. Now in this case, we can group A, B, C together. D will be a separate group, and states E and F, they are equivalent, they are also in same group. In that case, minimal DFA will have state ABC, state D and state EF. It will have these three states. So what do we mean by equivalent states? So it is defined like this. States P and Q, they are equivalent or indistinguishable if for any string W from sigma star, if we process string W starting from P and it reaches to a final state, then it means that if we process same string W from Q, it will reach to some final state. It may not reach to same final state, but it will reach to some final state. Also, if P and Q, if they are equivalent, then for any string W, if we process it from P and it reaches to some non-final state, then for same string W, if we process it from state Q, it reaches to some non-final state. If this is not true, then states P and Q, they are not equivalent, they are distinguishable. Now consider this example. From A, if we process string 1, it goes to state C. A on 1 goes to C. Whereas from B, if we process 1, it goes to state D. A on 1 goes to A, non-final state. B on 1 goes to final state. So A and B, these two states, they are not equivalent states. Now this state equivalence, it is transitive. If we calculate and prove that two states P and Q, they are equivalent, then if we prove that Q and R, they are equivalent, then it implies that P and R, they are equivalent. This we do not have to prove separately. We can also say that states P, Q and R, they are equivalent. On the similar lines, if P and Q are equivalent and then we prove that Q and R, they are not equivalent, then it implies that P and R, they are not equivalent. We do not have to prove this separately. Now we have studied this part. If P and Q are equivalent, then these equations hold true. Now if we consider that for length W up to K, for any string W of length less than or equal to K, if P goes to final state, Q goes to final state. If P goes to non-final state, then Q goes to non-final state. If this is true for two states P and Q for length up to K, then those two states are said to be K equivalent. We don't know what happens for string of length greater than K, but if this is true for all strings up to length K, then states P and Q, they are K equivalent. Now according to description, if two states are K equivalent, then they are also K minus 1 equivalent, K minus 2 equivalent, up to 2 equivalent, 1 equivalent and 0 equivalent. On the similar lines, if we know that two states are not K equivalent, then they are not K plus 1 equivalent, they are not K plus 2 equivalent and so on. Now what do we mean by 0 equivalent? Now if we consider any two non-final states, so consider any two non-final states A and B. So now we are checking 0 equivalent and there is only one string of length 0, that is epsilon. So A on epsilon goes to A, non-final state. B on epsilon goes to B, it is non-final state. So any two non-final states, they are zero equivalent. If we consider any two final states, say D and E, D on epsilon goes to D, final state, E on epsilon goes to E, final state. So any two final states, they are zero equivalent. Now if we consider one final state and one non-final state, so A on epsilon goes to A, it is non-final. D on epsilon goes to D, this is final. A on epsilon goes to non-final state, D on epsilon goes to final state. So A and D, they are not zero equivalent. Any final state and any non-final state, they are not zero equivalent. Now we will use all this theory to understand how to minimize DFA using state equivalence method using one example. Now let's understand state equivalence method for DFA minimization using this example. Now in DFA minimization, the first step is remove unreachable states. Now you can remove unreachable states just by looking at the state transition diagram, but if the number of states is more than 5, then always go for breadth first search. If you have enough practice of BFS, then using BFS to figure out unreachable states, it will take less time compared to figuring out by looking at the transition diagram. So here we will follow breadth first search. Now in BFS, consider initial state P. For that state, consider outgoing transitions. So from P we can reach to Q and R. From P we can reach to Q and R. We started with initial state. Now we have considered this state, and we will add the entry if it is not previously considered. So Q and R, they are new entries. Now we are considering Q. From Q, check the outgoing transitions. From Q we can reach to S and Q itself. So S is the new entry. Now consider R. From R we can reach to Q and R itself. So Q and R, they are already there. There is no new entry. Now consider S. From S we can reach to Q and T. Q is already there. New entry is T. Now from T, now we are considering T. From T we can reach to R and Q. R and Q, they are already there. So we have considered all the entries and only these are reachable states. Only for these states we will draw transition table. If you draw transition table first, then remove unreachable state, then remove those entries from transition table, you will end up wasting time. So always first remove unreachable states and then draw the transition table. So we have to consider P, Q, R, S and T. States G and H, they are unreachable states. They will not be considered in transition table. We have to mark state T as final state. Now let's complete the transition table. So now we have drawn transition table for reachable states. Now we will start calculating 0 equivalent, 1 equivalent and so on. We will start with 0 equivalent states. Now we have studied that all non-final states, they are 0 equivalent. All final states, they are 0 equivalent. So first we create a group of all non-final states. We take P, Q, R and S. And in separate group we take all final states. Here we have only one final state, T. So these states, they are 0 equivalent. And here in this group, T is 0 equivalent to itself. There is no other state equivalent to T. Now we will calculate 1 equivalent. So we will consider this group first, and from this group first we consider P and Q. We will check whether states P and Q are 1 equivalent. For that, consider transitions of P and Q. So P on A goes to Q, on B it goes to R, for Q it is Q and S. Now here we have to check P and A goes to Q, Q on A goes to Q. We have to check whether these two states, they are in same group in previous equivalent. Right now we are calculating one equivalent. Check whether Q and Q, they are in same group in zero equivalent. So here Q and Q, they are same states, they must be in same group. Q is here, Q is here. Now check for R and S. So R and S, they are in same group in zero equivalent. So P and Q, they are one equivalent. So this is only for explanation. We don't have to draw each time. We will check in transition table itself. Now let's check whether P and R, they are one equivalent. We have to check P and R. So Q and Q, it is in same group. R and R, it is also in same group. So P and R, they are one equivalent. Now let's check P and S. Now before that, P and Q, they are one equivalent. P and R, they are also one equivalent. So Q and R, they are also one equivalent. We don't have to check it separately. Now we are checking P and S. So Q and Q, it must be in same group. R and T. So R is here, T is here. It is in different group. So P and S, right now we are checking P and S, they are not one equivalent. So we take S in separate group. Now again, P and Q, they are one equivalent. P and S, they are not one equivalent. That's why Q and S, they also are not one equivalent. We don't have to check this separately. Now remember to copy this group here. So we have calculated one equivalent. Now let's check for two equivalent. Now check P and Q. So again, we are calculating two equivalent set. So we have to check Q and Q whether they are in same group in previous equivalent, that is one equivalent. So it is same state, it must be in same group. R and S, they are in different group. So P and Q, they are not two equivalent. So we take them in separate group. Now check P and R. So let's check P and R. Q and Q, it must be in same group. R and R, it must be in same group. So P and R, they are two equivalent, and Q is not equivalent with P, so Q is not equivalent in R, it will be in separate group. And then we check, then we copy these groups S and T. We should not forget that. Now calculate three equivalent. Now we are checking three equivalent for P and R. Now for P and R again, Q and Q, we have to check whether Q and Q, they are in same group in two equivalent. Now while calculating three equivalent, check group in two equivalent. So Q and Q, same state, must be in same group. R and R, same state, must be in same group. So P and R, they are three equivalent, and we have to copy remaining groups. They contain only one state each. Now if you observe this, two equivalent sets and three equivalent set, they are exactly same. PR, PR, Q, Q, S, S, T and T. Now if we reach this state where current equivalent set and previous equivalent set, they are exactly same, we should stop. The reason is, even if we calculate 4 equivalent or 5 equivalent, then we will get same set. So what it means is, states P and R, they are 3 equivalent, they are also 4 equivalent, they are also 5 equivalent and so on. So these states P and R, they are equivalent states. In minimal DFA we have to group them together. So now we have calculated equivalent set. Now we will draw transition diagram. So we have to take one state PR, then Q, then S and T. Now which in minimal DFA, which state will be initial state? So here initial state is P. Check which state contains P. It is this state. So this is initial state. Now let's calculate the transitions. PR on A. So take any state P or R and check what are the transitions. So P on A goes to Q. That's why PR on A goes to Q. Even if you consider R, these states are equivalent, you will get same transition. R on A goes to Q, you get same transition. P on B goes to R. R is here, so PR on B goes to PR itself. For Q, Q on A goes to Q itself. Q on B goes to S. Then state S. S on A goes to Q. S on A goes to Q. S on B goes to T. T on A goes to Q. And T on B goes to R. So R is here, so T on B goes to PR. Now our transition diagram is not completed, we have to mark final states. So check final states in the given DFA. So here we have only one final state and these are our states in minimal DFA. So we have to cover all the final states in given DFA in these states. So to cover T, we have to take this state T. So we mark state T as final state. So this is the required minimal DFA.